Let's see here. Sherri. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I'm here with a girlfriend, a colleague, a really special person that I met through business. That's one of the perks of being in the business that you love to be in. And Sherri Leopold, I met at a joint venture event. We've been Facebook friends for over a year, and I wanted to share Sherri with you because she has really great insights, wisdom, and experience that will benefit you for sure. And so, I posted the question, who's bullying you? And this is what caught my attention about your books. Sherri's an author. She's a leader. She's visionary. She truly is. She's a people person for sure. And yeah, so Sherri, thank you so much for joining me. I'd love for you to tell people who you are and who you serve.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here today, and I appreciate the opportunity to share with the people who follow your genius. So thank you for that. I actually help people stand up and stand out as the unrepeatable miracle that they are. No qualifiers. So it's not when you lose 20 pounds. It's not when you get that dream job. It's not when you do that. It's exactly as you are right now. It's basically help you plug in your own power cord because you are wonderful exactly as you are right now. So that's what I'm very passionate about, is just helping people know they're just okay exactly as they are. Now you can improve if you want on certain things, and that's totally fine. You can set a plan or make a goal and do that, but that isn't what's going to make you okay. You're already okay exactly as you are.
I love that you said that. I read a quote by Elon Musk yesterday. He said, yeah, people don't see all of the time before all of the mistakes. And they tell me how my life is easy, showing up 7 days a week, 18-hour days for years on end. Yeah, it's, but not to stay on topic in that everything that's happening in our life, we create it. And your one topic that you talk about is about the bully in you and who's bullying you. Would you share what we were just recently talking about? Because
Sure.
it's what people really need to hear about, because we think that we think that everybody else is aware of what we're going through, but actually it's an inside game, isn't it?
Yes, I always say it's an inside job, but same thing. Yes. And actually the greatest thing about it being an inside job is you're the boss. And this is a phrase I say all the time, you're the boss, applesauce. Or to phrase that as an affirmation, I'm the boss, applesauce. I say that all the time. If you feel out of control, that's always your go-to. I'm the boss, applesauce. And kids have it right when they say, you're not the boss of me. They're right. Stick with that. Your kids are right. I'm the boss of me. That's the whole point, is plugging in your own power cord. And kind of how that came to be was several years ago, I had a conversation with a close friend of mine, and she was really having a down moment. And she had come in, she was sitting on my floor, and she had just said something, and she kind of looked off to the side and kind of went like that. But she didn't say anything out loud. And I said, why did you just do that? And she said, what? I didn't say anything. And I said, oh, you didn't just say, oh, I'm always going to be broke. I'm always going to be alone. I'm always going to be unhappy. What's wrong with me? And her eyes got big and she went, wow. And I said, did you think you need to say that out loud for me to hear it? And she goes, wow. And so we went for a walk, because I'm going to tell you, as a licensed Dr. Amen brain trainer, I'm going to tell you that exercise is most generally one of the things I'm always going to suggest to somebody who's feeling down. But I couldn't handle the weight of the way she was feeling, even though she wasn't saying it out loud. So we went for a walk, we talked, we both felt better. But it was the next day that the conversation kind of circled back to my mind, because I was driving in the car going to a networking event, and I had the radio on, and they came on and they said that Anthony Bourdain had committed suicide. It was only 3 days after Kate Spade. And I was horrified. I said, oh my God. I actually turned the radio off, and I'm guessing he just sat down in the car with me to have a chat, I guess, because I called to him. And I was like, I didn't understand. I said, what is going on here? These are two people who had everything in life, right? Like their dream jobs. They had more money they were ever going to spend in their lifetime, both of them. And they both had families who loved them. They were both funny, very well liked. I researched it afterwards just to make sure, but I was pretty sure because I knew who both of them were. But I was like, but they both checked out. They willingly left. And I was like, all I could see was my friend's face the night before. And I'm like, trying not to cry in the car. I'm like, how is it that I'm not going to get that call about her? She worked retail, made much less money, was alone, had some family dynamic problems. And I just felt like this overwhelming need that I had to do something. But because I'm in network marketing and I share vitamins, I was like, what is it that I am supposed to do? I'm like, I didn't know what it was going to be, but I felt a very strong desire to do something. I just wasn't sure what it was going to be. And so as I'm driving along, I thought, I'll write a book, because I had just submitted a chapter, and in another collaborative book, actually my first one. And I thought, I don't know what I would write about. I mean, I didn't know what it was going to be, but I started asking myself, what's the common denominator between my friend who made $10 an hour or whatever, and these, very well-known, very wealthy people? Because I was hearing the same language that I assumed was probably the same thoughts they were having, right? And it was self-bullying. What to do when the bully is you. The title literally just dropped right in. And I was like, that's what it is. It's self-bullying. What they're saying to themselves, they would never say to their best friend or their sister or their mom or their child.
Well, I just have to add to that too. I so agree. And working with people as a psychosomatic therapist for over a decade, it's what we say on the outside is going on 1,000 times more on the inside. And that life that we create, that we weave, is what we've been creating. Yes. And we don't realize that that's going on in our inner world. Yes. And we're trapped in that. That's what I learned with entrepreneurs too, that stuff that's going on inside that creates that self-sabotage that they can't move forward is the way that they're bullying themselves, like you say.
And that goes along with that inner voice. And so that word inner voice was there from the very inception of the idea. And I thought, it's what they were saying to themselves with that inner voice. It's what was running on repeat, right? That was being generated from that subconscious and all those things through the years that just sort of stick there and stick their head up sometimes when you least expect it, but it runs on repeat. And the interesting thing is other people can't see it from the outside, but you have it raging in your head on repeat, right? And so it then impacts your actions. It impacts how you move forward or don't move forward or stay stuck or whichever, choice you make. But that's what the thing was, that common denominator, right? And I was like, people need help to snap out of that spot. And that's actually one of the techniques that I came up with. And the funny thing is, I only had the title when I went to this network marketing meeting that I went to, or it was it was a networking group. So I was very quiet during this luncheon. I didn't really say anything. And somebody came up to me afterwards. I was one of the last ones to leave. I don't even know what anybody talked about. My like head was in this, this like self-bullying, what to do when the bully is you. And my friend Alice said, hey, or Mary Alice, she said, what have you been doing? I haven't seen you for a while. And how you doing? And I said, oh my gosh, I'm great. And she said, really, what have you been up to? And I said, I'm going to write a book. Now this, mind you, happened like, less than an hour before. I had told nobody except, out loud in the car. And she said, oh, that's amazing. What's it going to be called? And I said, self-bullying, what to do when the bully is you. And she went, wow, that is awesome. She said, I can't wait to read it. I am dying laughing because in my brain, I said, I can't wait to write it. I didn't have a word. I had no idea what was going to be in it at all.
Well, for those who are watching, you might be able to relate, or this often is the case that that idea comes, and then how do you get it out there? Or you commit, and how do you get it out there? And in true entrepreneur fashion, Sherri, you rolled up your sleeves and you went and you did it. So,
and you know what? Here's the thing. I have to say it's very unusual, or maybe it's not unusual, but I felt completely at peace, even though I didn't know what it was going to look like. I knew it was going to come to me. Everything that I was going to need to move forward with it was going to come to me. And the ironic thing is I was speaking on this 7, 8, 9 months before it ever was published. I was already speaking on it. So it was meant for me. That's how I feel about it. It was meant for me to touch people with that.
Well, what I found about being an entrepreneur and other entrepreneurs is what you do in your business is deeply connected to your purpose. And even if it doesn't make sense, or we see it along the way. And that's why being an entrepreneur fills us up and is such a big part of our lives, right? So yes. Since you wrote the book, it's created workshops. You've got talk about what you're doing with that.
Well, all kinds of things happened since then. I started speaking on the topic of stop self-bullying, and I'll tell you, one of my keynotes is really how to stand up and stand out in your business, because this is one of the single most important factors, and this is partly why it came to me so easy, is because I've been in network marketing for 24 years. And I identified through that process of writing the book that one of the most important things that was critical to someone's success inside, it didn't matter what company, inside network marketing, direct sales, period, was whatever they told themselves about their ability to be successful was what generated. Was never the product. It was never how many calls they made. It wasn't those things. It was whatever footprint, what stake they put in the ground. It's either going to be hard. This is going to be easy. This is going to be great. Whatever stake they planted was what they leaned into and what happened. And so that all circled back around to the inner voice. Whatever you told yourself is what was. And so I was like, wow, this came really easy for me. Or I'm not good at that, or I'm just shy, or I'm not like you. That's the thing I always heard. I'm not outgoing like you. I'm like, thank God you're not me. There's only one me. Remember? Unrepeatable miracle. You're your own unrepeatable miracle, right?
We're a lot of work. It takes us a lifetime to get to that place.
That's right. But that's the thing. You have your own gifts, and people love you just because you're you, right? Not because you're me. Nobody ever said, oh my gosh, you are the most amazing because you are so like somebody else. Said no one ever, right? People don't say that because they love you for you and who you are. And that's where the stand up, stand out comes from. I want to help people plug their own power cord and stand up as yourself, because that is what is unique and incredible to be able to do. And that's one of the things that I'm doing right now. So I have a couple different things that I'm working on. I'm actually very close to launching my own membership program. And that will actually, that's going to be an ongoing thing where we're having lots of different discussions inside this membership group. I'm going to have experts, which I would love for you to come in, Laurel, and share your genius to my tribe. I actually call them Wow Warriors, just so you know.
Love it.
The wow actually is because probably 9 out of 10 times, sorry, dogs for you, 9 out of 10 times when I said the name of the book, they said, wow. And I was like it was like, woo, you know, that was a lot.
There you just you had the woof there.
Right. Sorry, I know he's excited. He's excited about the wow too.
Yeah, that's what I
So actually, WOW stands for the War on Words Warriors, and that's my tribe. This is the group of us that band together, knowing that we're always going to have a challenge with inner voice, right? So it always wants to run on repeat, and a lot of times it wants to choose the negative. This tribe and this goal is for us to band together to keep in step with saying what we want more of, right? Together. That's that war on words. It's a constant thing, right? And a warrior never gives up. They're born for the fight, right? If you go look up warriors. So there's a reason that and that's my program is the WOW Warriors. So, and I have a public free group. You can join in that part as well. But I'm actually doing some seminars too, and I do, or webinars, and I do have one coming up on August 12th, which is called Breaking Up with Self-Sabotage. So I'm excited about that.
I'll be there.
It's so wonderful. And you know, the thing is, I feel like if I can impact one person to move forward a little bit away from that space and feel like they're the boss of them, then I've actually done what I've been called to do. You know, even one person, I'm like, that's, and I always say part of my vision for Dream Big with Sherri is really helping to create a world in which suicide isn't even a thing. It's not a thing people talk about a lot because it rarely ever happens.
Thank you so much for the discussion around that. That's really, it's so important. There is so much going on that we don't hear about, and because so much of this is people's inner world,
yes,
that to hear discussion around it and to understand that they're not alone, that
right.
What they're experiencing is real and there's nothing wrong with them. Like you said, it's like, this is part of our human journey. And I would love for people to connect with you. So Sherri's going to, actually, if you could post here, if you wanted to put your links in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to keep the feed live, and Sherri's going to come back and put her posts in the Facebook group. If you aren't already in my Facebook group, From Passion to Profit, connect with me, get in there. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to be seen and be heard, that's the place. And come and connect with Sherri, because she got a lot of interesting stuff going on. I want to be part of your tribe.
Yes, I want you to be part of my tribe. And you know, the interesting thing is that we roll so great together, side by side, because exactly what you're talking about. We've talked about, you know, the language that you use and the whole stand up and stand out and just be seen and be heard as you are. I think sometimes people feel like that's a protective place, as if they withdraw. I call it kind of being the turtle, right? Pulling your head in the shell. Nobody will see me. It'll be okay. I want to encourage people to be completely full out, flaws and all, and actually just love all the flaws, because that's what makes you unique. And just to give you, I guess, a visual is, you know, and think about how incredibly unique you are. You know, there's nobody on the planet at this particular point, with the number of people we have, that has your exact DNA. that is exactly like when you see a blizzard and there's so many snowflakes and it all looks the same, but if you look under a microscope, there isn't one that's exactly like the next one. And I always say you're a snowflake. You know what? Be that unique creature. That's with your flaws is what makes you that snowflake, right? Embrace that, love who you are. And if other people have a problem with who you are, just know that they are responding to you from where they stand. And, you know, we often hear hurt people, but I always say broken people try to break people too. And my goal is to help you stand up and stand out as that unrepeatable miracle that you are.
Well, thank you so much for those really compassionate words, and it's wise. And I love that in this work that you and I do, that we get to have these discussions. So many people don't, but it doesn't mean that you can't have access to it. So please reach out to Sherri. Click the links, get a hold of her, become part of this amazing tribe, be a word warrior, a wow warrior. I love that. I absolutely love that. We're gonna work together. I just know it. There's lots that you and I have yet to share.
I think so too. I feel a summit coming on.
Yeah, there you go.
You see, nobody ever accuses me of thinking small.
We may not be allowed to be alone.
It's totally fine. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
It'll be so good for everybody else. That's
there you go. Thank you so much, Sherri. I love you. And thank you to everyone who's on live and has stayed with us right through to the end. This is fabulous. And it says that there's meaning in your words, and there's a message that's needing to be heard. So we'll see you all really soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.